folks, how you doing? This is going to be the third installment on my trailer build. I'm going to show you what I've got done with the wiring so far, what I've got left to do, and then I've got to wire the linking. So I'm going to get started. It comes with a plug, and I ran the wiring through the channel right here up along the body, and then I run a self tapper in and just I put a shrink wrap on it, it's a eyelet, little termination end on there, and put that together. I ran it up through the bottom. I plan to put some silicone in these holes, then I zip stripped it along there. So now I have to wire in my running lights, which are on the outside, my little marker lights. I've got to wire those in. This one is ground, which I'll just do the same thing that I did on the front, put a little termination end on there and ground it, and then this one will tie into this brown wire. And I ran it through these holes in the frame that were there already, all the way down, and run it out the side of the trailer. Just drill a little hole, put it in there. I'm gonna put some silicone in that one too. So what you guys didn't see was the lights where they were mounted, the little mount bolts on there, and got those on. Got a little license plate holder down there. So that's what I've got to do. I've got to take and do these connections from the light. The ground just grounds to the plate, that little L bracket for the light. And I've got to wire these in to these wires here. So that's what I'm going to work on now. So what I've got here is pretty simple. You just match colors up. Brown is your running lights, green is your right turn signal. It's also going to be your brake lights, and of course it grounds itself on the frame. I scratched that up pretty good and grounded it down there. So I've just got to take and make these connections, but I'll use shrink tube. So I'm gonna get started. That whole twist there is coated in solder, and I'm just going to clip that sharp end off like so. Once it cools enough, I'll flip it over, slide this heat shrink on there. I try to get it in the center. Now I just take my lighter. You can use a torch, but lighter works just as good. You can double up on these if you want to. You can put a bigger one and a smaller one, but there it is. So now I'll do the brown one. Twist that really good again. Got some solder on my iron. I need a new iron. This iron is old. Burned a lot of things besides solder. I'll do the same thing on the other side. After I put my connections on there, sorry about the shadow there. After I put my shrink tube on there, I did wrap it in black tape, and then I shot silicone in those holes. And you can see it right there. You can really see the silicone. And that's going to help stabilize it. It's also going to help cushion it. You can see where I shot silicone in there. On this one, I've got to ground this, and I've got to put an end on there so I can ground it over to the side. Run a self-tapping screw in there. I always keep a fair collection of different ends, bits and pieces. So I have my connection, and I don't want these things to come off. It's better than just a crimp. So I'm going to slide it in, my connection in, and generally I try to use one that's I can clamp down on everything. I don't know if you can see that or not. I've got the insulation there. I'm going to back that insulation off and keep it inside the crimp, and then I'm going to crimp down on the wire. And on the insulation, you want to test it. And then I will slide this tube up on there. Now, this is not to keep it from shorting out, because obviously it's ground, but it is to keep it, if it were ever come loose, it would still keep it on the wire. So I just shrink that up on there, and it just looks a lot better than just a bare wire. You know what I'm saying? I like things to look neat and clean. There we go. That got kind of hot. So what I'm gonna do next, grab a drill and drill bit, put a self-tapper in there. Got my self-tapping screw. I'm just gonna take it, get this in here. And of course that screw's hanging underneath there. You can clip it off or grind it. So I've got this stripped, and I've got my wires separated here. So what I'm gonna have to do is just take and cut this wire here. All I need is just enough to wrap. So I will take it, strip that in. I'm gonna need a little bit of room to slide my tube over. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a short piece to this one. Slide this on here. Twist this one up. Solder it. And we want enough to tie into this one here. So we want it fairly nice and neat and tidy. So we'll just cut this off right here. I always like to leave myself just a little. twist this one up, solder it. End it off. Fold it back this way. Slide this right up on it. See that? I kind of nicked my wire there when I was separating them. I'll put a small piece of tape on that. Just kind of tape the two together. Again, I hate black tape, but you gotta do what you gotta do. There we go. So I got both of those connections in there. I just got to repeat this process on the other side. Okay, folks, she's all wired up. Got both sides wired up and zip stripped. Got it all running to the front. I've got wrap on my wire that's going to extend up when it's tilted, and I just got it stuck over in there, and it seems to want to just kind of ride there, which is good. One more thing I want to show you is I did get these washers in here. I just got to tighten these bolts up. Not a bad little wiring job. Like I said, if you've ever known how to wire, you pretty much do it. Hopefully I helped somebody out the way I did it. Really wasn't a really good way to do the wiring on this trailer. There was nothing to connect to. I didn't want it hanging under the bottom. I wanted to conceal it, so hopefully this will keep me from having to replace any wiring anytime soon. That's one of my pet peeves with trailers, is you're always having to work on the wiring. The only thing I got left to do is put a trailer plug on the Lincoln, and I'll bring you that in another video. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. Make sure you give us the old thumbs up, share, subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email's in the description below or on our homepage. So until next time, we'll see you down the road.